My name's Fran Sands and this is myboxingcoach.com. This is the first video in a series of 4 looking at hooks and uppercuts to the body. And the first shot we're going to look at is the left hook to the body. Now if you've seen any of the My Boxing Coach videos on the other left hooks, there's the three types, short range, mid range and long range. When we're throwing a left hook to the body, we use the short range version of the left hook. I just want to talk a little bit before we get started about where we're actually aiming with this shot. When you hit an opponent to the body, what you're not aiming for is the ribs. The ribs are a very tough structure. They're designed to protect everything that's packed up within them. You will damage them eventually if you hit them hard enough, but the reality is what we want to do, if you feel where your ribs are on both sides, this soft fleshy bit just below the ribs is our target area. So for the left hook, if my opponent's in this stance, I'm aiming for just below the ribs on his right hand side. Okay, so the liver area we're aiming for here. Okay, let's get straight on. What I'll do, I'll demonstrate the shot from a few angles, then we'll break it down into the component parts, and then we'll talk a little bit about the common faults that creep in when performing the left hook. Okay, so as usual, from the boxing stance, the first action, in fact I'll just demonstrate and then we'll break it down. Okay, so what's happening there? Well, what we're actually doing when we throw a left hook to the body, we're combining 2 moves. Firstly, we use the duck, and secondly, we combine that with the short range left hook itself. So from the stance position, what's actually happening first is we perform that duck, so we drop the head down. So why is it important to do the duck? Well, I believe it's important. If I have a target that's there, if I stand upright and throw my left hook down to it, that hand is away from the guard position for slightly longer than if I drop slightly and throw it there. Okay? So what we're actually thinking about is defence. The less time you keep that away from there, the less likely you are to take an incoming shot. That's not to say that when you're up close to someone you will duck all the time, but you need to be aware that if you don't, the risk of taking an incoming shot is slightly higher than if you do. Okay? So again, first action is a drop from the knees, and then there's this explosive thrust off the front leg, actually from the ball of the front foot, that rotates those hips in a clockwise direction, and you can see what's happening there. And that generates the leverage and the torque for that arm shot to go out. So by the time it lands, I've actually driven the power up through the body and accelerated it onto the target just below the ribs. Okay. Common faults. Don't lean over as you do it. The temptation is often to do this, to lean in. Leaves us off balance, and I'm sure if you've looked at other videos on the site, you know why being leant forward is never a good thing. Okay. Secondly, make sure it's a shot where the power is generated from the leg. Okay. Don't just let it become an arm shot. So don't lean in and do that. It's got to come from the leg, and it's got to land with foot. Listen, body shots, headshots, we can throw scoring punches where you're not actually looking for power. Body shots are designed for one thing and one thing only: to stop an opponent in the tracks, to cause them problems. Okay, so you've got to make sure that you maximise the power in the shot. And the third and probably final common fault is arcing the punch too much. Again, the opponent's there, take the shortest, most direct route to the target. Now, I know what a few... I just also want to do is say this one last thing before I go, because I know plenty of people will comment and say, my coach tells me to always slip to the side before I throw a left hook. That's fine, but it's a different skill, okay? That is a basic left hook to the body. If I want to add leverage, what I would do is at the inside slip and then come back. But that is a different skill to what I've just shown you about throwing a shot to the body. Okay, you're combining a different type of skill. We could change that slip for any number of other skills, but just so that people don't say, hey, my coach tells me to do this totally different, I always slip, that's fine. There's that, and there's that. So it's 1, 2. 2 different skills. Okay, that's the left hook to the body. My name's Franz Sands. This is myboxingcoach.com.